You either catch the ball or live long enough to see yourself miss it and become the villain.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We hope it is good. Welcome to another edition of Geeks Who Like Sports. Another early recording Monday, November the 4th for Chaos. That's the theme of today's episode is Chaos.
Chaos.
Yes. As always, I am Ray Carsillo in chaotic California. Doing my best for the entire world over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which is going to be extra chaos.
Yeah, battleground, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
The battleground of chaos.
It's a coven of chaos here, Ray.
Yeah, it's just chaos. Just tons and tons of chaos.
Ray, I have been texted, emailed, mailed, bombarded on the streets. It is brutal here right now in Pennsylvania as the candidates, all of them, every single one of them, the local ones, the presidential ones, they all want my vote. But Ray, I already voted by mail. And there's no list I can go on, Ray, to be like, leave me the hell alone.
Yeah, me too. I voted.
I hope my mic burst out there. I almost had a mini Ray rant there. But
I voted 2 weeks ago.
Obviously, top of the show. Whatever your fancy is, go vote.
Go vote. Go vote.
All right? But please leave me alone once I've voted. My God. All right? No, Ray, I can tell you right now that thousands of trees have been sacrificed for this election for the amount of mailers that I get, each saying the exact opposite thing. Yeah. Which is also amazing. So I'm like, who do I trust?
Yeah. That's the thing is who do you trust?
Who do you trust? Money. Baseball. There's your transition out of this. Let's talk about baseball, Ray, because we're talking about catches today. There's a great catch in the Eagles game yesterday, great run. There's a poor catch. We got to start about the World Series. Ray, how are you doing? First off, how are you doing?
I'll see. I had an anecdote, and you cut me off. You went right into.
Well, hold on. Let me rewind back. Go vote.
Yes, go vote. But here's it's funny because for those who don't know, I've been working as a canvasser for the last month, which is basically kind of like data collection. I'm basically kind of like just this telling you, please go vote.
Yes.
Right. Basically kind of making sure that do you plan on voting in the election? Do you know where your polling place is? Stuff like that. But what's interesting is that to your point is that especially as we're getting close to the election, a lot of the calls I make, they're like, I've already voted. And there is no way for me to know if you've already voted. I don't wait. If you already voted, I don't want to call you.
There's a way to
there's
know.
A way.
There's a way. Yeah, they're just not doing the research for that.
Well, the thing is, it's not the people who are calling you or texting you's fault. It's whoever's in charge of that database.
The registrar.
Yeah, it's their fault. So don't blame the person calling and texting you, folks. It's a little PSA. Blame the people at the top, which is what you should always do. Anyway.
Well, listen, there's another way to sequence it there. But listen, I'll also say this too when it comes to voting, right? Go vote. I always love, Ray, when we talk about sports. And you can go to our comments section and someone will say, well, you must vote that way because you think Saquon Barkley is a great running back. And I'm like, what? How did you come to that conclusion?
Yeah. That's one
You've had that happen. Like you must be one of these.
That's one heck of a leap you made there, folks, much like the leap that Saquon made yesterday. But we have a big show today, folks. We've got a lot of Marvel stuff, primarily Marvel stuff in the Geek section. And we've got, obviously, we're going to cover all four sports, but as Lee mentioned before, we partially transformed, partially went back in time. The World Series.
The World Series. You said problems at the top, Ray. You said all the problems are at the top.
Yeah.
It's all right in front of you.
And the problems are all at the top.
Yes.
The owner, the general manager, the manager, and all the Dodgers have come out and said it. They said, we were thrilled when we got the Yankees because we know that the Yankees would beat themselves, that they are a fundamentally flawed team. And it's much like I've been saying for the entire year. And again, I've said it, folks, the Yankees overperformed. Again, this is why I didn't have them in the World Series. And I still believe, now again, you can't help the bracket. And obviously they just happen to match up with Kansas City and match up with Cleveland very well. In fact, fun fact, the Yankees under Aaron Boone in the playoffs are 6-0 against American League Central teams. They are 0-7 against everyone else. For whatever reason, the Yankees just do very well against the American League Central. But if it's somebody else from their division, if it's somebody from the West, or of course, obviously the National League and the Dodgers, the Yankees choke it away. because that's just the way they're constructed right now, and that's the way they're managed. And when you don't play good fundamental baseball, when you commit 3 errors in a single inning, I feel bad for Garrett Cole, because if the Yankees just played fundamental defensively, the Yankees would have been up 3-2 going back to LA. That is a fact. They made the errors in game 1 allowed the Dodgers to tie it before they won it in extras. And obviously the errors in game 5 allowed them to tie it before they won it later on. The Yankees' lack of fundamental defense. In fact, to the point where even the Yankee broadcasters have also been saying it all year. I've been saying it all year. Aaron Judge is not a center fielder. He's a right fielder. Juan Soto should be in left field. But because you're worried about, well, Juan's better in right than he is in left, and Judge, you get so far in the weeds with all the BS that you're not putting your best defense on the field, which would have been Judge in right, Soto in left, and Verdugo in center. Next year it'll be Jason Dominguez, the rookie. But that's your best outfield. That's your best outfield. And then they're like, Aaron Judge, and this happened with Mookie Betts this year, or 2 actually, but Mookie Betts, Gold Glove outfielder, Gold Glove second baseman, had to play shortstop for a while because of all the injuries to the Dodgers. Lee, do you know what happened to Mookie when he moved to shortstop?
What, Ray?
He sucked. In fact, he went from being a plus 10 defensive run saved infielder to a -8. That is a massive swing, because this is why these guys specialize in these positions. There are different things to think about in these positions. And Aaron Judge, in the same way, went from being a plus right fielder to a minus center fielder. It makes me sick. It's one thing to get beat. It's another thing when you beat yourself.
Well, okay, hold on. We got to give Dodgers a little more credit than that.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. Right.
No, we don't.
That team is prolifically good. I mean, that was unbelievable.
And they would have been down 3-2 if the Yankees made basic baseball plays.
I'm sorry.
It's not to say they wouldn't have won game 6 and 7 LA. You don't know what would happen.
I can give you game 1 a little bit. I can't give you the top of the 5th inning, because you gave them an inch and they took a mile.
We made 3 errors. 3 errors.
That's
not on them.
I can't sit here and not give the Dodgers credit for the dominant performance that they had this entire postseason, and they won that World Series without Ohtani doing anything. You can't deny that.
Yeah, no, Ohtani shrunk in the biggest moment, but nobody's talking about it because everybody else stepped up.
Well,
but
he was hurt.
The Yankees beat themselves. Everybody's hurt at the end of the year.
Yeah, listen, I'm not disagreeing with you that the Yankees did themselves no favors, but I can't sit here and just act like the Dodgers were not great. They're a great team.
They're a great team, but again, they would have been down 3-2. And again, you don't know what would happen in game 6. You don't know what happened in game 7.
Sure.
But
that's not how it works, Ray. And I'm sorry. This is what I say. Great teams will take those opportunities and kill you with them, and they did. Now, with that said, look. It would have been a much more even series if those errors didn't get committed. But there's plenty of teams like the Dodgers made errors, and the Yankees did not capitalize on them.
The Dodgers made 1 error.
Well, you're not helping your case here with that. So all I'm going to say is this: look, it's brutal.
The Yankees made 7 errors. It's
brutal.
A big difference.
It's brutal, right? I am not denying you that they shot themselves in the foot, but I can't sit here and be like they gave the Dodgers the World Series, right? The Dodgers are great.
The thing you don't know what would have happened, but
sure,
this would not have been a short series had the Yankees played.
I can agree with that.
Fundamental baseball.
I can agree with you, and I think what's more disappointing to me is that they didn't show up on the biggest stage, which is not what I'm used to seeing from the New York Yankees. You don't get there by luck, and even with that record, the Yankees didn't get there by luck. The Yankees got there because they can play baseball. Now, again, what's brutal is that Aaron Judge's place in the game is now completely different than it was 12 months ago, right? Yeah. Now, the lasting image is not hitting him 61 home runs. It's him dropping that ball.
Yeah.
That's brutal for him. Now, he's young. He'll have a way of beating that and coming back. Maybe. But, I look at the Dodgers now, and I'm like, man, who the hell is going to beat that team? I mean, they didn't just, they walked the Worlds. They walked into the World Series.
Yeah, then that's the thing is that the Dodgers are going to be better in
They're
years to
primed.
come
Yeah.
because you got to remember the Dodge. This was the your chance to win it. This was your chance because the Dodgers, half their pitching staff was hurt.
Yeah.
They didn't have half their starters.
You had you shot yourselves in the foot. But then
the
again,
Yankees had the edge and they blew it
Well,
because they are a bad team fundamentally.
That I agree.
Aaron Boone should be fired.
But I can't deny that, like, Freddie Freeman performance. Like, that's magical. I know you're not
Freddie
happy
should
about
not.
it.
But here's the thing: if the Yankees don't make those errors, Freddie never gets those chances.
I agree with that too, but he did. And again, right, I'm not disagreeing with you on they shot themselves in the foot, but for Freeman to do what he did, for that team to do what they did, I can't just say, oh, well, they didn't earn the World Series. I mean, they took advantage at every opportunity, and that's a championship team to me, right? So with that said, look, that fifth inning it was disgusting. I mean, like, I don't care what anybody says. Nobody wants the World Series to end like that. Nobody. It's embarrassing. I mean, if you hate the Yankees, you might be gloating. But
a lot of people are gloating.
Yeah, but it's like hitting the 8 ball in pool. It's like we didn't get the World Series we deserved. That's what I think is most disappointing to me. Now, again, Freeman's magic is pretty incredible. All right, but it's like I didn't want to see Ohtani get hurt. I didn't want to see Judge look like a jackass. Like this was like a comedy of errors.
The biggest stars disappeared on the biggest stage.
Gone.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Freeman's a star, or he was a star, we should say. But like
he's still a star,
yeah,
but like yes,
he's
but
just older.
Ohtani and Judge right now are the faces of their respective
and
leagues.
it was disgusting.
Ohtani hit 100, Judge hit like $150, and then the error, like it was
and Ohtani was
disgraceful baseball. Yeah. Well, he got hurt in game. He's been
hurt his shoulder.
He's been hurt. He re-aggravated it on a stolen base attempt that he didn't need to be stealing.
But that was dumb too. But look, my point is that look, Dodgers fans, congratulations. All right. There's no fluke in this one. You won the World Series. I'm just saying this is not the greatest World Series I've ever seen.
This was awful.
It was awful. And again, outside Freeman, who I will give all the credit to for what he did. That's unbelievable.
Absolutely. Good for Freddie.
6 in a row is unreal. All right. But man, this was just a disappointing World Series. Like when you think World Championship, anything, this is not what you expect.
Yeah.
All right, and that's what kind of blows my mind. I was like, how did this season end? It was like a balloon popping. It was like,
yeah,
it's just like, what is going on here? So, look, taking a look forward, the Dodgers will become more powerful. We said it earlier, they're the new evil empire.
They're the new evil empire.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You're going to have Ohtani even more healthy next year. He might be pitching again next year, maybe.
Yes, yeah.
All right, I mean, it would become very dangerous very quick. For the Yankees. Ray, I imagine, I'm not poking you. I imagine this must be the most curious thing for you because I have never seen them mortal like this. Look, just to give some context on this, the first time I ever saw the Yankees mortal ever was when Rivera blew a save. And I was shocked. I mean, it hurt. And I'm not a Yankees fan, but that was the first time I remember being like, oh my God, they made God bleed, right? This team was so far from that. I mean, it was just like, oh my goodness.
And they're going to be even farther next. They're even going to be farther next year because there's a chance that Cole leaves. There's a chance.
He pissed. Yeah.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. So Cole has opted out of his contract.
No.
He's likely going to leave. Soto now likely going to leave.
He's going to get offered the world. I mean,
he's supposedly the Mets have already offered him 12 years, $660 million.
If he goes there, that'll be disgusting. But
I mean,
I don't think he'd go to the Mets. I mean, because
Glaber's gone.
Yeah,
Glaber's gone. Clay Holmes is gone. Tommy Kahnle is gone. This is going to be a very different looking Yankee team next year.
Yeah.
And this could be the beginning of dark times because. Again, if Cole leaves, that's our ace. If you don't re-sign Soto, Stanton's getting older. Judge is on the wrong side of 30. Again, you're banking on all these prospects coming up and filling
how old
these
is Judge?
roles. Judge is 32.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, he's right about at the end of his prime.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like he's gonna start to decline, especially at his size in the outfield, very rapidly.
You're right. It's scary. I mean, look, I'm going to say it again. and I really am not trying to make fun of you here. This is what it's like for the rest of the league most of the time. It's just very weird to see the Yankees in this position. But I think the problem with the Yankees, and again, not a Yankee fan here saying this, is your culture has been disrupted. That is not a championship culture at Yankees team. If George Steinbrenner was alive, and I am not in any, I have no problem bringing this up. That would have been so unacceptable.
Oh yeah,
right. But I have a feeling this Yankees front office is like, well, we made the World Series, and it's like, oh,
and that's
God.
and that's
and tell me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong.
Al
right?
is not his father. No,
yeah.
If,
that was unacceptable.
If George was in charge, Boone would have been fired 3 years ago.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Is that Hal
only
cares about his bottom line. He only cares about making money, and until fans stop going to the stadium and buying the merch, that's the only way it's going to get through Hal's head that they have to do better.
Well, the standard for winning is very different for that Yankees team. And again, if for you to have won that World Series would have taken some magic, they had none.
No,
and again, it just was not a great World Series from that standpoint. I'm going to say again, outside Freeman's performance, it was not that great.
No, I agree with that completely. It was a bad World Series. And again, look, if the Yankees, and again, the Dodgers could still have beaten us in 7. Yeah. It's just we gave them game 1 and game 5.
I've got to ask you a really painful question, but I got to do my job. What was worse, 04 or this?
04.
I would agree with that if I was in your shoes too. That was brutal. That was worse because that team was great.
That was a reverse. That was a reverse sweep. That was a team that was primed to win it all, and then and now we have to listen to Big Papi for the rest of our lives.
He's taunting you guys a little too much.
Well, I think that whole Fox crew is a clown show outside of Jeter. So honestly, like A-Rod should be off TV, Papi should be off TV, Burkhart should go just stick the football on his new best buddy Tom Brady, and honestly, and it should be Mealy and Derek Jeter doing the Fox pregame from now on.
I'm down with that.
Yeah. So, because we're professionals and actually know what we're talking about, unlike, again, the 3 of the 4 people on that panel being a bunch of clowns. Clowns! It's a clown! It's chaos!
Chaos!
Speaking of Tom Brady, speaking of football, we can move on now to the NFL. I think.
Well, I can poke and prod you a little more.
I was going to say, do you have more thoughts on the World Series before we move on? Please share. Please, I kind of did a half rant. I didn't get as mad as I usually get. Like,
I do want to say that we have to look at the season as a whole now, and I think we can say that was somewhat of a pretty outside the World Series. It was a pretty good MLB season. A lot of positives, a lot of great things happened this season. Obviously the postseason didn't go our way at all. We can both take joy in that the Mets didn't make it to the World Series, but that might have been a better World Series for the Yankees. But the as a whole, this wasn't a bad Major League Baseball season. I'm really finding myself enjoying baseball again, which years ago, Ray, I was super jaded. I mean, I was really upset with MLB.
Yeah.
But it's better now, and it's so I think we can say that the MLB is on the up and up. But they have got to figure out some things continuously. And I'm really hoping that replay gets better. I am all for doing better at the home plate area behind home plate. But
let's really quickly before we move on, baseball. You have 90 umpires in the league, right? Why are you picking the 37th best umpire and the 50th best umpire and the 63rd best umpire for the World Series? Why isn't it your top 6 umpires over the course of the regular season? Because I will also say that in game 1 for both teams, that was an atrocious strike zone.
Yep. I would agree with that. And that can't happen in the World Series, Ray.
That can't happen in the World Series. How are you giving these mediocre umpires the biggest, most important games of the year? That is a joke. That is an absolute travesty. And that is like, again, Lee, why wouldn't you have your 6 best umpires?
Right, here's the deal. This is all I'm going to say. For the traditionalists out there, you can't have it both ways. And I'm so tired of it. A strike's a strike, a ball's a ball. We know what it is. I don't believe anymore that we don't have the strike zone figured out. That's always the big thing. Oh, they're having some issues. There's no way it's not better than what we have right now. There's no way.
We
All
have
right?
the
A
technology.
computer gets what? Maybe 5 wrong the whole season?
If that.
If that. So like I'm so tired of this. In the World Series, a strike has to be a strike.
Yeah.
I'll go further. In baseball, a strike has to be a strike.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to watch a pitcher throw a ball 3 inches outside and get it called a strike 3 times in a row. Nobody wants to watch that. What's the batter can't do anything.
Yeah.
They can't swing at it.
Yeah.
So I'm tired of the rankings. I'm tired of the grading. Get the robot umps and do it. It's right. This is the stupidest holdout of all time.
Yeah.
You still need someone behind home plate. It's not like they're losing their jobs.
Right.
They're not losing their jobs.
If anything, it'll make more jobs. You can put more replay officials in the stadium. Or
well, they'll be focused on other things that need their focus. You still need someone back there.
Yeah.
This is just so stupid. It's like, can we please get over this? I don't want I don't want them to test it. I don't want to be, I think that was a strike. Just bring in the electronic strike zone already.
Yeah. It's time. It's time. Also, you mentioned the Mets. I just need to all the Mets fans who were like, well, we would have beat the Yankees if we were there, and we would have rolled over them. We would have won the World Series by default or whatever. You weren't there. You weren't there. You weren't there. You didn't win the pennant. You didn't win the pennant. You weren't there.
Yeah. You never heard, not one time have I said, well, if the Phillies made it, you know why? Because they didn't make it.
You weren't there. Yeah. So again, Mets fans.
That is that Napoleonic complex again. Well, if we were there, my God.
The what if scenario, which we'll talk about later, but the what if,
yes, we will. That's surprising, by the way. That what if update that surprised me. I was not expecting that.
But stop that. Stop. I can't stand that what if scenario garbage because, I get it. What if the Yankees didn't make their errors? We could probably say pretty candidly they would have been up 3-2.
What if the sun was 400 times bigger? We'd have a problem.
We'd have a problem. But yeah, look, it's you weren't there. You weren't there, so you can't talk.
You don't get to talk when you're not there. You
Yeah.
shut your mouth and you're upset. You know your role and shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth. Anyway, now we can move on to the NFL.
Let's talk about Saquon Barkley being Spider-Man yesterday. Eagles, Ray, I'm going to start there if that's okay with you.
By all means.
Very interesting season where you have Saquon Barkley just playing out of his mind. Everyone loves him. You've got Jalen Hurts not in the spotlight. Then you got Nick Sirianni, who now after a win is being completely ripped apart by the Philadelphia fan base, kind of for good reason, right? Because the guy's leaving points on the table.
Yes.
Like
that game got a lot closer than it should have gotten yesterday.
Scary close. All right.
Yeah.
All right. And the Eagles should have had 9 more points, I think, than they had, like gimme points.
Yeah.
And I don't know if something's going on, but I will say this. Somebody asked me this today outside my work. They said, well, what do you think? I said, I think if the Eagles do not win the Super Bowl, he's getting fired. Yeah. It's that simple. He's in, and we talked about this a few weeks ago. He is now in Super Bowl or bust territory. He's gone off the deep end a little bit. And it's been working. All right. They haven't lost since he's gone off the deep end. That's the other side of this thing.
Yeah.
All right. But either he's got to win the Super Bowl, or if he loses to the Dallas Cowboys next week, that could be a problem. But
yeah.
All right. But there's another team that's having problems. But Eagles are like a real world drama right now. It's like, what do we do? Like, you look one direction, you got. First off, I've never seen what Saquon did. I've never seen anybody do that.
No, that was unbelievable. A reverse hurdle, backwards hurdle.
Yeah, and he's so humble. He's just like, I was just running. It's just like, oh my, well, buddy, that's a little more than like Ray. I don't know if you saw the viral meme video that we just put out.
Yeah,
did you see it with the Spider-Man?
Yes.
So I was watching that replay, and I'm like, I know I've seen this before. Like, there's something about this that's familiar. And then it clicked this morning. I was like, Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 1, Green Goblin. He made the exact same jump. So for those of you listening, if you haven't, go check out at GWLS Podcast on Instagram, or actually everywhere we are. And we put that up there for you. It's scary close, Ray, the way that jump worked with Spider-Man. I did use the modern Spider-Man theme because I have to modernize things, because if I use the theme from back in 2002, none of you would know it. Yeah. So I used the modern one. Go check it out.
Yeah. No, it's fun. No,
Eagles,
look,
the win.
it's a big
Yay.
win. It is a big win. You
Yeah.
you keep pace with Washington, who, of course, not surprisingly, beat the Giants. The Giants also beat themselves as much as Washington beat us.
Except for that one fan that like fell down the stand.
Yes, I saw that. That was
like, what are you in a Redskins jersey, by the way?
A middle-aged Washington fan in an Art Monk jersey who tumbled down the state. Who was barking at some Giants fans, flipping them off, and then drunkenly fell backwards down the stands. And
schmuck.
Because he's a schmuck. Yeah. Washington beat the Giants. The Giants, they're a bad team. We've been saying this all year. Daniel Jones finally threw a touchdown at MetLife Stadium, though. Look, I mean, right now there are like 5 teams with 2 wins, which actually is kind of nice that there's no threats of like teams that are between 1 win or no win. But the Giants are going to be in that lottery for the top draft pick as of right now. They play Carolina next week. And Lee, I hate this. I am in a position where I have to start rooting against my favorite team for draft positions.
Yes, you do. Don't win another game.
No, because like that's the thing. The Giants should not win another game. The Giants should tank. I hate this. That we're at the midway point of the season. We are literally.
Oh, we knew this was happening. We knew this was coming.
I know, I know that's what was going to happen. But like now, I really, especially because you're playing Carolina, who is a team that is also 2-7.
Yep.
Like you need to lose this game in Germany.
Listen, I'm looking at your schedule right now. The funny part is there are several winnable games on here.
But I don't want them to win.
I know what you want, Ray, but that's not how it works. Now, listen. A few years ago, there was a game, Giants versus Eagles, that the Eagles won, that you needed us to lose, and we needed to lose. And it's like, you got to try and win the games.
Yeah, I know.
You can't play for a draft pick because the whole team goes down if you do that.
Yeah.
At least you don't have people on the sideline, very prominent people, saying, man, we suck.
That's true. We're going to get to it. Second. I do want to quickly stay with the Giants for one more second.
Oh, you stay with the Giants your whole life.
You're giving me these transitions, I know, and I appreciate them.
I'm reverse hurdle jumping, and you're not taking it.
I know, but the thing
stay on the Giants. I'm teasing you. Please, Ray, the Giants.
Again, I just want to remind everybody, the problem is Daniel Jones. Because the Giants are doing something. The Giants are doing something that hasn't been done in 25 years. The Giants are sacking the quarterback at a rate of 13%. Wow. That is the highest rate in the NFL in 25 years. They have 3 pass rushers in the top 10 in sacks. Lee, the problem is not the defense.
Nope, not at all.
The problem is not the receivers.
Not at all.
The problem isn't even the fact that we lost Saquon. Tyrone Tracy, our rookie running back, not Saquon, but having a nice rookie year.
I'll give you that.
Daniel Jones is the problem.
Well, the good news is that you're not several pieces away anymore, right? You're just a few pieces away. And if you get a great quarterback,
it really is just
yeah,
Daniel Jones.
If you get yourself a great quarterback, you go 500 immediately. Immediately. And look, that's where you want to be, right? Yeah. When you're starting to rebuild.
Yeah, no.
You know who else is about 500?
They're under 500 now, after losing 3 in a row, including even though there was a garbage time touchdown late for the Cowboys to make it, but they were dominated by the Falcons pretty much start to finish.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons flying high, by the way, at 6-3. And
pun intended.
Actually looking like a real threat. But the Cowboys trying to stay out of the basement with the Giants and not doing a good job of it. Nope. It's going to come down to Washington and Philly at this point, Lee, for the NFC East.
Yeah,
because Dallas looks done.
Unless Dallas beats the Eagles next week, they're in deep poo-poo. And I'll tell you what, there's a culture problem there. You cannot have your starting quarterback say we suck on the sidelines for everyone to see. And I don't want to hear, cameras are always on you, man. You are the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
You can't be saying stuff like that.
Not a leader. And also the boneheadedness. Lee, the first touchdown drive of the game for the Falcons, the play they scored the touchdown on, or the play before, the one that allowed them to convert to a 1st and goal, it was 3rd and 4. The Cowboys had only 10 men on the field.
Yeah.
They only had 10 men. That is the kind of boneheadedness. And then they would have 12 men on the field. Then they would have – the Cowboys had so many pre-snap penalties that no wonder it was the Falcons would not have been as good as they are if they did not take advantage of all of those penalties. The Cowboys are the Yankees. They're fundamentally bad. Fundamentally bad.
Let me ask you
with a culture problem and a bad coach.
What if we, speaking of what ifs, what if we put Dak Prescott on the Giants? What does that do for the Giants? Because I actually think the Giants would succeed with him.
I do too, actually.
Right? I think he fits well.
I think Brian Dable would actually get Dak to another level.
Right.
Really do.
I do too, because the Cowboys just don't have it. And barring some miraculous turn, which I don't see coming.
No.
I mean, and look, it's like with the Eagles, Cowboys, it's like this isn't a situation. I always stand by what I say about NFC East matchups. You never know. Yeah. But it's like my big worry is Nick Sirianni, not even the Eagles.
Yeah. Well, and now the question is, too, does Dak play next week? He has a hamstring issue now. He got hurt at the end of that game.
That might be the best thing that could happen to him. All right. Because I'll tell you right now, with what he said, if I'll be very blunt with you, with what he said, if I'm leading that team, you're sitting a game because you said that. And we'll make it look like it's because you're injured, but you're sitting a game. Yeah. Because you cannot say we suck on the sideline. That is some high school amateurish bullshit.
Yeah.
All right. I don't care how bad you're doing.
I will say, though, if the Eagles lose to Cooper Rush and the Cowboys, the Eagles definitely have a problem.
Well, listen, look, this is what I love about football. Nick Foles can come out of nowhere and become Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
Like, you just never know. All right. Sometimes, look, you've seen it 100 times. A new guy can get behind the ball and just have a game of his life, man. It can turn a whole team around.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So not every sport you can say that. Like, go through it. In hockey, you can have a hot player. It doesn't mean you're going to win the game. In baseball, you can have a hot player. It does not mean you're going to win the game. All right. Same thing in basketball. I mean, basketball's a little, if you get a hot player, maybe you can win the game. But my point to you is in football, if you get a quarterback and everybody believes in that guy, that changes the whole aspect of the team.
Well, look at perfect example. Look at what's going on in Detroit right now.
A great example. It's a great example.
The last 6 games, Jared Goff has 28 touchdowns and 24 incompletions, Lee. Like, that's insanity. This guy is playing at a historical. It might not be him. It might not be all passing touchdowns, but that the Lions as an offense, they believe. Like that is all belief. If it is not Lions and Chiefs in the Super Bowl, like the NFL, whoever's writing the NFL script this year needs to be fired. The script. Wait.
Yeah. Well, the script doesn't have the New York or Dallas playing bad, so it definitely doesn't have the Commanders in first place in the NFC East. So
it's
been interesting, but yeah, look, the NFC, it's a 2-team race. All right, and again, the division matchups can do things, but division matchups typically either even it out or give somebody an advantage. It's very rare. It happens, but it's very rare it flips someone.
Well, and that's what you're seeing with Detroit is now not only was Detroit great, but now they knocked off both the Vikings and Packers.
It's huge.
And now they're starting to pull out to a big lead and could really run away with the NFC because of that.
It hasn't been a bad NFL season so far. It's just we're like, it's interesting, right? It's an interesting point, and we're about halfway through.
Yes, we are technically at about the halfway point.
Yeah.
So
of course,
because we're recording on a Monday, we have not seen the Chiefs and Bucks game. We are assuming
as I said, it's the Chiefs and the loser tonight. If the Bucks beat the Chiefs, that would be amazing, but it's probably not going to happen, especially on a Monday night game. Yeah,
highly unlikely. I'm sure that the refs on a national stage will make sure that Mahomes stays undefeated. Mahomes. No. I mean, look, the Chiefs are obviously a good team. The Chiefs are still the team to beat in the AFC.
Obviously, in the NFL, let's be honest.
In the NFL, yes. I mean, again, to me, it should be Kansas City and Detroit. That's who it should be.
That would be a great matchup. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Kansas City's had an easy time this season, but we'll see.
They have. Their division is still, even though the Chargers and Broncos are both on the upswing, they're still not in that same category. The AFC South is in shambles. Really, maybe the Bills, the Ravens, and the Steelers could maybe give the Chiefs a shock in the playoffs, but that's really about it. The Chiefs are so. This is it's like lunch pail, going to work, ho hum. We're gonna win today. Like it is just they are
dynasty level, and I'll tell you right now, you're gonna get a preview of that Bills matchup in a couple weeks. So that'll be a big game, and we'll see what happens. I mean, look, they're undefeated. They just I think they're almost being ignored a little bit. It's kind of weird how after last season's hoopla and all of the the stuff around Taylor Swift and everything. It's amazing that the Chiefs are so quiet this year in terms of media coverage.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. Hey, I'm back. Okay. I don't know why that's been happening so much lately with my
Well,
camera.
it's the Ray rage. It just makes everything go black.
Yeah, no, I know. It's
So
just all
the Niffle dutifully marching into the midseason.
Yes. Yeah. We're now through the first 12.5% of the NHL season.
Ooh, girl, keep going.
First 10 games or so of hockey, or for most teams, 10 to 15 games. The Rangers off to a very hot start. 8-2-1. They continue to find different ways to win. Adam Edstrom with his first goal of the year the other night against the Islanders. I love beating the Islanders. But yeah, as the Rangers would roll 5-2 over the Islanders. Yeah, Rangers looking. I mean, look, it's very, very early. The Canes are 8-2. Washington's 8-3. Washington, I'm a little surprised that Washington is as good as they are. Ovechkin now, I think 36 goals away from Gretzky.
Yeah, that's Ovechkin's awake. When Ovechkin's awake, the Capitals are good. When he has a mediocre season, they're not. It's that simple. That's how big he is on that team. But he's scoring like he does. And I predicted that, right? That's why I have it on my fantasy team.
Well, there you go. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not surprised he's having a good year. Washington beat the Rangers. One of the Rangers' regulation losses against the Capitals, where Ovechkin had 2 goals.
He had a rough year last year.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Lee, your Flyers are 4-7-1.
Mm-hmm.
Are you disappointed by this start? Are you surprised?
No, not at all. I mean, look, we all knew this was a rebuild season. We all knew they overachieved last season. We've had significant goaltending issues the entire season. They would not be where they are in the standings if our goaltending was stronger. Mm-hmm. Keeping in mind we had a goaltending prodigy here that had to leave. That did not help. I'm not going to get into that right now. But the story in Philadelphia is Matvei Michkov, our newest player. He is amazing. He just won Rookie of the Month. That is the future of the program right there. We have not had a superstar of this caliber from a rookie year since Eric Lindros. So that is the message in Philadelphia right now. Let's see how we can build around this kid. But with our goaltending situation, there is no possible way they make the playoffs as of right now. They need to figure that piece of the puzzle out. And I'll be honest with you, Ray, it's not something that they need to figure out today because they're not a playoff team. So it's one of those things of, I think they'll let things play out. They'll see what happens, see who becomes available. But nothing is playing out in the net the way it is. I will say that Ersson, the goalie that we do have, who seems to be somewhat injured at the moment, he's playing solid, but he's not playing good enough for us to be in the playoffs. So no, I'm not upset. I think again, after last season and that complete collapse, you realize, we really did overachieve. And they're 2-3 seasons away, but they will be a powerhouse around this kid. I have no doubt about it.
Well, I'm glad it's still a couple seasons away. Well, here's the thing: as you guys will rise, the Rangers win championship window will start to close. So.
The timing is correct because the Rangers, Carolina, definitely Washington. Pittsburgh's not doesn't look like
Pittsburgh's window. They're 5-7-1. But I mean, I think we've all kind of been saying for the last couple of years their window is closing, and it looks like it's unlikely.
Closed. So they might come up right at the right time. I think the Devils are also a team that could rise quickly.
It all depends on their goaltending, really.
Right. But yeah, this is it's tough. The only thing tough about being a Flyer fan, Ray, is that we kind of had a great goalie for the first time in forever, and once again that disappeared on us.
I mean that situation just was. That came out of nowhere.
Brutal. Yeah. Everything about it's brutal. So again, we will forward.
Yes. Real quick before we move on, I just want to talk about the Western Conference a little bit. The Jets with the best record in hockey at 11-1. And the Wild right on their tails, 8-1-2. Lee, these are two franchises. We've talked about this before, particularly the Wild, that just can't seem to. They'll have nice regular seasons, right? And then obviously in Winnipeg as well, same thing. Connor Hellebuck, obviously one hell of a goalie. But can these franchises finally, I mean, I get it. It's very early. We're through the first month of the season, but is this finally the time where the Jets and or Wild put it together and maybe make a deep playoff run?
Well, look, Winnipeg, 100%. Winnipeg was very good, and they're for real. I don't think that's a fluke. I think that, maybe they're a little ahead of where they're thought they would be this time of the year, but they're a good team. It doesn't surprise me that they're surging. The Wild really made some adjustments to their middle lineup, and I think that's really what they needed to do to kind of secure it. I think also their goaltending has been great too. So I would say the Wild would fall off before the Jets. I mean, historically that's what happens, but I'm not surprised at all by Winnipeg being as strong as they are.
Yeah. No, yeah, and of course, Marc-Andre Fleury, kind of in a more mentorship role, kind of like Jonathan Quick with the Rangers.
For sure, yeah.
With the Wild, he's 2-0-1 on the year. Gustafsson, who of course is their primary starter, 6-1-1.
Yeah, they're playing great. They're playing good hockey. I mean, it's about time.
Pretty good start.
Minnesota's problem is always the postseason, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Jonathan Quick is 2-0 for the Rangers, whereas Lundqvist.
What year are you in?
Yeah. Just had a flashback there. Yeah, I'm just. The only reason why I mentioned Jonathan Quick is he is 5 wins away from 400 for his career.
Yeah, he's one of the best of all time.
One of the best of all time, and I'm happy he's finally a Ranger, even though he beat us.
It's nice having him on the East Coast for sure.
Yeah, well, he grew up a Ranger fan, which is why it killed me so much when he beat us in 2014. But anyway, moving on to a little bit of basketball news. A little bit of basketball. The Knicks are 3-2. A lot of teams. It's very early. I mean, not really much to talk about. Some teams are 4-1. Some teams are 1. Very, very early. But this was interestingly in Philadelphia,
Pennsylvania.
The frustration of a slow start for the 76ers. I believe they're 1-4.
They're horrible. Yeah.
Not really anything to panic about, really, in my opinion. But
bad start.
It's a rough start. And Joel Embiid basically got into it with a columnist and pushed him in the locker room. That's what all the reports are saying. Now, supposedly the columnist wrote something about Embiid and his family and all this other stuff. So there's already some bad blood there. Then you have couple this with the slow start. Embiid hasn't been playing great.
He hasn't been playing.
Yeah, hasn't been playing. Tempers have flared. And he's likely going to. I'm going to imagine this is some sort of suspension, if not or massive fine. But Lee, what are your thoughts on this situation with Joel Embiid and the 76ers? And again, let's just preface this by saying you should never punch a journalist or push a journalist or whatever. Like even if they are being probably a jerk, which can happen. But Lee, what are your thoughts?
It's tough, Ray. So Joel Embiid is a former MVP of the league. He's been sitting out games, and it's like load management was what they keep calling it. So from the start, the way they've been portraying his not playing has been poor. And since we're giving him off for load management, well, that doesn't sound great to anyone,
right?
Outside of that 76ers building,
yeah.
Right? You're better off just saying the guy's injured and needs to recover. Everybody would understand that. Nobody would say anything because this guy has given everything to this city and this team.
Yeah.
So from a coaching standpoint, when I hear load management, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. From a media standpoint, it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
So look, I'm with you. You never touch a journalist, even though we all want to punch him in the face sometimes.
Yeah.
If journalists even still exist anymore, I wouldn't call that guy a journalist. But
yeah. I mean, let's be honest. As most sports writers are as much tabloid writers as they are.
Yeah.
Actual
well, and Embiid had said, I've done so much for this city. I'm getting so much hate right now for taking care of myself.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of old school thinking mixed with new school thinking. And the truth is this: you need that guy to be healthy if you want to win. And if he's not healthy, we ain't going to win. All right.
Sure.
So it's like, I think everybody just needs to relax a little bit. You're not motivating this guy, but this is what Philadelphia does sometimes. Like they can run an athlete out of town. And that's likely to happen here if we're not careful. All right. Like we're not owed anything by these guys. He's trying to give his best. He has given the city everything. So I'm a little more empathetic towards him in this, but I'll also say, dude, you got to play. You can't have it coming out that you could play and are choosing not to.
Right.
All right. So just tell me you're injured. Tell me you need to recover. Tell me you need some rest. All right. Don't say it's load management because people are, all season he's going to play half the games. We're paying him this much money. I love how people talk like we're paying him this much money. You're not paying him any money. The team's paying him money.
Right.
Well, I can't just go and miss work. Well, you're not Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not a professional basketball player. Is the pay scale screwed? Yes. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
But you're not Joel Embiid. Okay.
Right.
And he doesn't work a 9 to 5 at an office. He's a professional basketball player, and they can do pretty much whatever they want. Charles Barkley did rip him apart though on this load management thing. I wasn't against it.
Well, the thing is, you're starting to see this in other sports too. Like, I mean, they're going to go back to just kind of briefly mention the NFL. Anthony Richardson blowback a couple weeks ago when Richardson tapped his helmet and came out of the game because he was gassed. Which, and to be fair, for a quarterback, a lot of NFL folks have said it. They're like, you can't, like any other guy at any other time can tap out in the NFL except for the quarterback. Like, you've got to figure out a way. And in a way, Joel Embiid is like the quarterback of the 76ers.
People want it both ways. And this is what I get annoyed about. It's like, we're so much more aware of mental health. We're so much more aware of what our bodies can endure with everything from concussions to injuries. And everybody's like, oh, no, yeah, we understand. But as soon as they come out, oh, you got to toughen up, man. When I was playing, we wouldn't stop. Nobody would stop playing. We were tough. It's like, no, you were concussed, you dumbass. It's like, you can't play through that. And why? This is a human being. Yeah, he has a life. Now listen to me. If a guy wants to play through injury, God bless him. All right? But you cannot have it both ways. All right? And yes, there were tougher athletes, if you want to call that tough back in the day. I'm not saying they weren't. Those guys would play through everything. But I'll tell you what, if I was an NFL player, or if I'm an MLB player, I see guys with CTE, they can't function.
Yeah.
Or they get severe body injuries, I'm going to think twice nowadays. And I'm not going to let the peer pressure of you telling me how untough I am stop me.
Yeah.
But you got to portray it the right way.
Yeah.
This is like when Simone Biles was like, I can't perform. Yeah. You're a quitter. You're a disgrace. Like, are you serious?
Yep.
It's disappointing. It was disappointing when she couldn't compete, but that doesn't mean I'm disappointed in her.
Right. Yep. Well, times are changing and people need to change with the times. But the thing is usually the fans are the last thing to change.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like, I'm going to say it again. I don't like that he's sitting out games. We need him in there, but I also don't know what's going on in that guy's head.
Yeah. That's fair. Oh, goodness. You know what we kind of do know about things going on in people's heads? Figuring it out.
I love this segue because we're transitioning to the Geeks section.
Yes, we are. We kind of know everything that's going on in Wiccan's head now because we have the Agatha.
Should give a spoiler alert before this.
Spoiler. It has been almost a week.
It has. If you haven't seen the last couple episodes of Agatha All Along, you should skip ahead.
Yes, a two-parter that really could have been one big episode, but they kind of just roll right into each other. But that's why they released them at the same time. So
I didn't mind that. Yeah,
I didn't mind it either. Agatha All Along, the finale, the grand finale, was fantastic. They sucked the landing.
Totally nailed the landing. 10 out of 10.
It is in that S-tier Marvel show along with Loki, in my opinion. Those are the two best shows, Loki and Agatha All Along. I hope that we get a second season. Yeah, I mean the first part basically, is the end of the road and Billy basically coming to the realization that we kind of hinted at last week, that we said that was a rumor that people were starting to put together, that Billy made the road. His powers started to manifest out of the fear caused by the Salem 7, and the road magically appeared. And you know what? It makes Agatha, her performance throughout the show, even better because you realize she's just BSing her way through the whole thing, and Billy's making it into reality. Because she realized these episodes also showed that she knew, because we also know that the Witch's Road was all just a con for Agatha to steal power over the centuries. Brilliant. It was Agatha all along.
Exactly.
And then of course we also have the big final battle against Death. And Agatha, she says she didn't sacrifice herself for Billy, but she kind of sort of did, because she also
kisses Death. She kissed Death.
Yes, and she kind of admits that she sees her son in Billy, and but by kissing Death, she sort of escapes Death, and just like in the comic books, becomes a ghost. And in the comics, where the ghost guided Wanda, in the MCU, the Ghost will guide Billy, and now they will go find Tommy, and we will get the Young Avengers. Lee, what are your thoughts on the 2-part season finale of Agatha All Along?
Well, look, the writing was brilliant, number one. Number two, the true test of a show, right? One, can you tell a great story? A, completely did that. B, can you make it rewatchable? Completely did that. I'll get to that in a second. C,
Absolutely.
are you improving the work around it? WandaVision is now a better show because of this
100%.
show.
100%.
And you could rewatch that now, right? In terms of the rewatchability of Agatha All Along, just with Rio's character alone, watching her interact with the characters is different. One of my favorite parts is I was watching that episode the other night where Agatha's mother shows up as a ghost.
Yeah.
And she possesses Agatha, and Rio very candid is like, honey, are you okay? Like, you could tell that she's not worried. She's death. She doesn't have to worry about it. But then the other thing too is she says, I hate ghosts. Death says that, confirming what you said. So now there's so much extra stuff in the show when you can watch it again, Ray, knowing what Agatha knows, knowing what Rio knows, right? Understanding that. It's pretty amazing. And again, the end of the road and Agatha dying was amazing. I loved the extra episode because we always talk about how hard it is to do an epilogue, or how hard it is to close the book. But they successfully did that in a way that makes you excited for another season or the continuation of this, but also makes you feel insanely satisfied. So again, going back to the end of the road, obviously everybody getting what they want was really brilliantly done. And then the epilogue of showing Agatha with Nicholas Scratch and their love for each other, and that how she actually honors him by the Witch's Road song that he kind of created with her. And that's how she continues to work, right? Because originally he would attract the other witches, and now she takes their power that way. And then 2, not 1, but 2 looks directly at the camera, which was also pretty amazing. That we had if I'm not mistaken, outside Deadpool and She-Hulk, that's the 3rd, 4th wall break we've had. And she did look right into the camera. Right when the Witch's Road appears. So it was really well done, masterfully mixed, acted, written. I don't think we've seen a show better than that. I would say as a whole, Loki was great.
Yes.
I would put this a little ahead of Loki. And I guess we're talking season 2, right?
I mean, the thing is, I always worry that I'm too close to it. But right now, I think you're right. I think Agatha is probably the best show that Marvel has made.
Yeah, look, I loved Loki, but I'm comfortable saying this, and I'll tell you why. Because in Loki, there were some episodes where it was like that was good, but I don't know what we're doing. And this one, it was like that was really good. I kind of know where we're going, and at the end, it's like, oh, it was Agatha all along. I mean, that was brilliant. Okay.
Well, and that's the thing. Loki had episodes that didn't work until the next episode. Kind of like almost like finish the thought for whatever they were doing.
This one didn't work that way.
Agatha was truly episodic, even if it was the device of the Witch's Road. It was truly episodic. And I mean, it's just they did a phenomenal job of that. Every character gets what they want. Every character has an arc. Even to the point where, and like you said, Jennifer Kale now is out there. She's a repowered witch. She is out there in the world.
Well, and even if what's nice about her character, I mean, they do say, "Oh, you're the future," but even if they never revisit that character ever,
no, you don't have to.
It's fine.
Yep,
that's tough to do. All right. The other thing too with Loki, and this is why I'm giving Agatha a little bit of an edge, and I got to be careful here the way I say it. Loki leaned a little bit too much on we can do whatever we want in the multiverse style. All right, now listen, I can't ignore like they're using magic and stuff in Agatha, so like it's
sure they have that same device at their fingertips if they so choose.
But Loki, and again, this was hilarious. I had no problem with this, but at one point Loki just fast forwards like 5,000 years. All right, and it made sense. It totally made sense. It was funny, but it was like, okay, that's a bit of a cheating plot hole that was used the correct way. Agatha never did that. These characters get deeper and deeper and deeper. I mean, there are onion layers to these people. Billy was fantastic and got more powerful. The social norms that they broke in this show felt so comfortable. Like not enough people are talking about that. Right. I mean, that was so comfortable that where I think sometimes it's overdone or underdone. It was done so perfectly in this show, right? It
Yes.
was comfortable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does need to be uncomfortable too to make people uncomfortable. But this shows you how far we're coming, I guess, in some ways. But then at the end too, just Billy and Agatha. This is the cool part about the end of the show, Ray. Are they good or bad? Nobody can answer this, and I love that.
Yeah.
You can't answer it.
I mean, Billy wants to do good. Agatha doesn't care.
No, but here's the thing. Does Billy want to do good? Because he there's a great conversation between the two of them about how many people died. I love that she's like, well, if we're keeping score, you actually saved a life.
Right. Because
and
technically, right. That's the thing is like technically, yeah, like
but he didn't know that.
Agatha's the one who killed Alice, technically.
Well, Agatha would have killed all of them. That's what she said. And that's why he said, if we're keeping score, you're up by one. But the thing is this, is that, the great line of you have the same tell as your mother. And you and I didn't know what that was going to be. The tell is you create fake worlds in your mind. I mean, it was just like, wow, that line got bigger. But this was masterfully done. I'm going to say it again. Catherine Hahn deserves an Emmy.
Yep.
Easily. All right. Yep. I believe wardrobe might deserve an Emmy on this.
Yeah, they did an amazing job too. Like, I love all the breakdowns of Wiccan's costume.
Right.
They have Vision's cape on the inside and Wanda's on the outside. Like, so smart.
And then even Agatha's costume is pretty in depth.
Yes,
right?
Phenomenal. Costumes.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, Patti LuPone could win an Emmy on this for best supporting actress.
Yep,
all right,
absolutely.
I mean, this was well done, and the writing. I mean, look, Ray and I are writers.
Jack Schaefer, phenomenal.
And again, Marvel has figured this out. I mean, this has got to be another blueprint. I mean, Loki built it, but this is going even farther now. This is how you do this.
Yes.
Right. And now we have Ghost, Agatha, and Billy out there looking for Tommy. What a great ending to the season, right? And again, I don't know when they show up again. I don't know if there's going to be a season 3 or if this is part of another larger thing. But I'm happy. I'm happy with this show. They did a great job.
Well, and the thing is we know Vision Quest is coming, and it's like, do they reappear in the Vision show?
I mean, it would make sense. Like one of the things
that would be the through line, right?
Like I wish Marvel would do more of allowing characters to jump between shows, but like I don't necessarily always need a season 2. Like season 2 can be Vision Quest.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and they do that in the movies all the time. So I don't know. I don't understand why they've had a hard time with that. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Agatha All Along was WandaVision season 2.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, I know I understand why they didn't call it that.
Right. Of course.
All right. Yeah, but it's like that. I don't mind jumps like that. In fact, I kind of appreciate it because it's like, if it's season 2, like we're going to get into what if in a minute. Right. It's like, I'm shocked there's going to be a season 3. Shocked.
Yeah.
All right. Because I didn't think season 2 was that good.
No, right? I agree. Like, and that's the thing is like, I mean, we've got so much coming up because like,
but we should go through the schedule because I think everyone's really confused now on what is coming out, what's not coming out.
Yeah. Marvel, there was a trailer before Agatha All Along that basically was like, oh, hey, here's the next 15 months of Marvel television.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of characters in here. There's a lot going on. I mean, we knew Ironheart was a thing, right? With Riri, we knew that was coming.
Thing. Yeah.
It is happening. The Hood, who of course is more of a street level villain, but is a big villain in Marvel. Like he's, like look, if Daredevil has the Kingpin, like the Hood is that kind of, but he also has a mystical cloak. I don't know if he has the mystical cloak here yet. Probably not. But like
he will.
It kind of sets the tone. He probably will. It sets the tone of what Ironheart's going to have to face. Obviously, it's going to establish her for the Young Avengers. We had Daredevil crossing over with Ms. Marvel.
Yep.
We've got Kingpin becoming the mayor. That's from the comics. Like, but we saw Ms. Marvel's parents in the Daredevil clip. Like, that means A, he's going to Jersey, and that means B, we're gonna probably get more Ms. Marvel.
Which I'm fine with. Yeah, I love Ms. Marvel.
Totally okay with. We got a Wonder Man trailer.
Yeah, we did. Out of nowhere.
We got Wonder Man. For those who don't know, this is Simon Williams. Actually, in the comics, part of Vision's brainwaves are modeled after Wonder Man, which is part of the reason why Vision loves Scarlet Witch, because Wonder Man loves Scarlet Witch, because they have a fling, because Scarlet Witch just,
But she did.
Yeah, she dead now. She's dead now. But she had a lot of relationships with a lot of different Avengers.
Well, just real quick, by the way, one of the other things that WandaVision, one of the other things that Agatha has shown is that if Billy can transform and transport his consciousness to another body, you know damn well the Scarlet Witch can as well.
Absolutely, positively. A lot could happen. A lot could happen. But Wonder Man with Ben Kingsley, his character from
out of nowhere,
Iron Man 3 and Shang-Chi, and like it's just like what?
Yeah, well, here's one. Where's Shang-Chi?
Well, we know we're going to see him at least in What If Season 3. Because
yeah, I know. Like, I actually loved that movie. I mean, I'm like, where is he? It's like, come on.
I think we're going to, that's the thing. Something's going to happen with the 10 rings and mystical items and cosmic things. I think they've pulled back, but he will be back, I think, at some point.
I mean, here's the problem. This dude's getting older. Like, you get a problem here, man. That guy's probably 6-7 years older now. Like, you know, I hope they bring him back soon.
Yeah, well, we're going to get him in animated form. And then we got other cartoons. We got Marvel Zombies animated. We got Marvel's The New Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man cartoon coming. Lee.
Yeah.
We're gonna feast. We're gonna eat well in the next year.
Well, we got that, and then cinematically, we've got Captain America 4, right?
Yep, that's in February.
And what else?
We got Thunderbolts in May.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun, right? Yep. So what we don't have,
we don't have Blade. No, Blade's not coming.
Blade's been probably erased, but what we and here's the thing: nobody knows about Moon Knight. I've got reports that that's not coming back. That it is coming back.
I've heard that it is, that they have greenlit it now for a season 2.
Well, the thing is that Agatha taps into that show a little bit in the afterlife, right?
Yes.
So one of the things that Moon Knight did really well was go into the different planes of existence past life.
Yeah.
So that I could see a great connection there. But we'll see. I mean, I also think, just going back to Agatha, the devil, death is not done with Agatha. And that's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Yeah, there's a lot coming. What we don't have, Ray, is what's going on with Dr. Doom, what's going on with Kang. Like you're gonna have to close that loop somehow at some point. Yeah. And I think the longer we go without that, the more dangerous it becomes.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, that's going to be the thing is that, what do you do it? Supposedly Fantastic Four, the Fantastic Four film is in July, by the way, of next year.
Yeah.
Like, do you do it with that?
Well,
that would be the
have
place
to,
right? Like
Doom has to come from that story.
Yeah.
There's no other way to do it.
Yeah, no, it has to. It absolutely has to. Like, and I want to confirm. Thunderbolts is the first weekend in May.
Well,
and then you're going to have 3 Marvel films in the first half of next year, basically.
Well, that'd be good. Maybe they'll get back on their game here.
Yeah, so one of them has got to close the loop on all this. To your point, in my opinion.
Yeah,
if it's not Captain America and it's not Thunderbolts, then it's got to be Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So
we'll see what happens there, but looking forward to it. I mean, again, Agatha All Along left a really nice taste in her mouth, and just it feels like it's a good place to be.
Yeah, no, this is the best I've felt in a while about where Marvel's going and the direction, and the show stuck the landing, and that trailer got me really hyped for a lot of the other TV shows they got coming, and it was Agatha All Along.
Yeah, it's funny. When was the last time you remember seeing a trailer like this was Agatha? Now, Marvel over the next 15 months brings you ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum. I was like, oh, wow, I haven't seen a trailer like this in a long time.
Yeah. It was just one thing. And the thing is that the fact that we have like footage means that like stuff is shot or shooting.
Yeah, it's all recorded. I mean, look, I think they did a lot of this over the last few years. They've just been trying to reposition it, figure out. They probably had to do a lot of reshoots, would be my guess, because of Kang. But we'll see what happens. Disney's prime for a big year, not just with this, but Star Wars. They're prime with Skeleton Crew is coming out soon. We saw a little bit of that trailer. And then also, Moana 2 is about to come out.
Yep.
So more Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and we'll be seeing him a lot in the next few months, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, he'll be back just in time, I think, for Survivor Series, and then all the way through to WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
Right.
There it is.
There it is. That's the show.
That's the show. Great show. Bye.
We did it. All right, we did it. Okay, I can go get lunch now. I like lunch.
Delicious.
But that's it for us this week, folks, with Geeks Who Like Sports. So as always, like, share, comment below, all that fun stuff. Let us know what you think. Until next time. Actually, we both got our mugs today.
Cheers.
Cheers. All
Thank you.
right. Yeah. That's the end of my coffee. Until next time. For Lee, I'm Ray. This has been Geeks Who Like Sports. Good night, everybody.